As Chancellor of the University, I declare this congregation open for the conferring of degrees by the authority of the Senate and of the Council.
My Lord Mayor, Mr. Chancellor, parents, friends and graduands, as Vice-Chancellor, I am delighted to welcome you all to this degree congregation. It is a celebration for all those who graduate today. We celebrate your many achievements that culminate in the award of a degree from a major international research and teaching-led university. All graduations are special, and this one is no exception. It is the first time that our Chancellor, Sir Peter Williams, has presided at our summer graduation ceremonies. Sir Peter has a distinguished record in the academic and business worlds and plays a major role in the interface between business and academic developments. We look forward to working with him and welcome him here today. We are very fortunate to have persuaded him to be our Chancellor. While you have been with us, the university has developed and changed. We are now a community of 19,000 students and 3,000 staff, and we have a turnover of approximately £172 million. It all demonstrates that universities are complex organisations. In these circumstances, higher education has, quite rightly, become a topic of public interest. We are very proud of the achievements of this university, particularly in this academic year. We have been invited to become a member of the prestigious 1994 group of 19 UK universities who are renowned for high-quality research, high-quality teaching, and a first-rate student experience. Last September, we were placed joint first in the National Student Survey for teaching quality and overall satisfaction among those universities who teach full-time students. This was the largest independent survey conducted by government that has ever taken place among students, so we were very pleased to be put in that position. Last November, our Students' Union was named Students' Union of the Year, and I know that those of you who are graduating today will have savoured the delights of the Student Union during your last 3 years in all respects, and I'm sure you will concur with the judges that the union is a splendid asset of the university. Indeed, not only did they win Student Union of the Year, they won Best Venue, they won Investors and People status. It was altogether an absolutely splendid year for the Student Union. And then to take another example, in June this year, we were placed in the top 20 UK universities in the Times League Table. This is particularly important as all the research evidence shows that potential students and their parents examine the ratings in the Times more than in any other national newspaper. Over the years you have been with us, our position has improved, and we certainly plan to go higher. Indeed, think of it like this: the higher we are placed, the greater value of the degree that you are awarded today. But what contributes to our league table position? First of all, the development of teaching. This year, Leicester has opened 3 centres of excellence in teaching and learning that were won in a national competition. 1 centre in genetics education, a further one in geographical information systems, and a 3rd in physics education. This makes us one of only 16 universities awarded more than one of these innovative centres. National teaching fellowships have also been awarded to a number of our staff over the last 3 years. Dr. Derek Rain in physics 3 years ago, Dr. Chris Wilmot in biochemistry last year, and this year I'm delighted to say they are joined by Professor Gilly Salmon, who won an award in the field of e-learning. Again, one of just 50 awards that are available from very strong competition. As a leading teaching and research university, we see it essential to appoint leaders in their field. This year, we developed a new blood scheme for lecturers where we had over 1,000 applicants for 20 positions, and we were able to make some absolutely splendid appointments. It is this group of appointments that includes people who are the research leaders of the future. In research, we are therefore seeing major developments across all our faculties. For example, in the field of American Studies, Professor Martin Hallowell has won a senior fellowship at the Rothermere American Institute in Oxford for next academic year. In historical studies, they have held 2 scholarly meetings to honour distinguished Leicester academics this year. The Centre for English Local History hosted a conference entitled W.G. Hoskins and the Making of the British Landscape in July 2005 that was attended by over 250 delegates. The conference was inspired by the achievements of a great Leicester scholar of the past, but also looked forward and set new agendas in landscape history. The papers from that conference will be published in 2007. Meanwhile, the Stanley Burton Centre for Holocaust Studies hosted a lecture and workshop on the theme of perpetrators, how do ordinary people become mass murderers? The lecture was in honour of Professor Aubrey Newman, the first in a planned series of lectures, and the workshop was attended by a number of eminent historians of the Holocaust from the UK, Germany and the USA. Meanwhile, in the field of education, Professor Bernard Barker has published an important new book on transforming schools, and Dr. Hilary Kremen is developing new research in the field of citizenship education. Now, alongside these developments in teaching and research, we need to develop an appropriate infrastructure. And over this last year, we have developed high-quality facilities for staff and students in a number of different locations in the university. We've developed a new student hall of residence with 581 study bedrooms, which we will open to new students this September. Our largest building project, the largest project that the university has engaged in since the 1960s, is the University Library project, an essential part of the research and teaching infrastructure that constitutes a £27 million investment for everyone on campus. It will double the size of our university library. It will also bring together print material with the latest electronic developments. This will mean that Leicester will have what is termed among library professionals as a hybrid library, which will bring together the best resources available to researchers of all generations. And finally, there are a number of key developments that have taken place in departments. For example, the Geography department has opened a virtual reality suite. There are a new set of facilities in engineering for thermal and fluid engineering, and in genetics, we've been very pleased to open new air-conditioned laboratories. It is all these facilities that enhance the student experience in Leicester, and I can assure you we are planning many more. In terms of being a leading international research and teaching university, it is also very important that we make a direct contribution to the community in which we are located. Our contribution comes in many different forms. Contact, a student volunteer organisation, has seen over 600 students volunteering this year to help with right-to-read schemes, holidays for disabled children, and a playgroup for children with special needs. The latter has been run by members of the Student Union for a period of 30 years and is a great testimony to the work that is done by students on a voluntary basis for the people of Leicester and Leicestershire. This year, one of the parents in the special needs group talked very movingly at the celebration ceremony about the work that had been done and how it gave space and freedom not only to the children who attend the playgroup, but also to the parents who accompany them. In these ways, those of you who have volunteered while you have been in university have not only created new facilities for people, you have actually empowered them, and they will remember you for the rest of their lives. Because you have changed their lives, you have made things different for them, and we are very proud of the contribution that you have made. Our Centre for Disability in the Arts, named after Lord Richard Attenborough, promotes dance, music and the visual arts through classes and public performances by international artists. This year has seen the arrival of a new director who is putting together a new dynamic programme that will be introduced in the coming years. And then finally, in terms of a contribution to the locality, is our 5th International Sculpture Show in our Botanic Gardens that opened 10 days ago and highlights the university's contribution to the arts. The exhibition celebrates the work of 7 artists who have each taken a lawn to display their work. I hope that the picture on the cover of the brochure for the degree ceremony will act as a reminder to you of the exhibition, and I hope is sufficiently tempting to get you to go and have a look at the exhibition before you go. Viewing is free, even though the exhibits are very expensive to purchase, but I do strongly recommend both visiting and, of course, if you wish, engaging in purchases. As a university, we need to constantly plan and build new facilities and raise funds for them. Over the last 2 years, I'm delighted to say that the fundraising group, under the direction of one of our pro-chancellors, Nicholas Cora, has raised £10 million to help assist with the construction of the university library and also to develop a cardiovascular research institute and a range of new research projects. Our work never stops. We are creating plans for new research, new teaching programs, and new community links. Altogether, it demonstrates that you are members of a very dynamic university. Finally, I would like to congratulate you all on the degrees you have obtained. We hope you will keep in touch with the university, and I shall look forward to meeting you at alumni events. But before I close, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about a competition that we run in these degree ceremonies, which has become known as the Vice-Chancellor's competition, which I get each of the faculties to compete with each other as to how long and how loudly you can applaud your fellow graduates. I can see by the reaction on certain faces that I think departments are beginning to tip people off. Indeed, I almost suspect that modules are being introduced in applause in order to see how people can develop in the competition. But I would like you to join me now in showing your appreciation to your parents, relatives, friends and sponsors who have supported you through the university. So I would now ask the graduating class of 2006 to join with me in a round of applause for all those people. It's going to be interesting because it means the Faculty of Arts has to compete with itself this year, because we had people from arts here yesterday. Their greatest asset was they could applaud for a very long time. And I suggested they might increase the volume. I mean, my tip to you would be, increase the volume, and a bit longer, you could be in with a chance this year. But the main thing is that you should have a very enjoyable day, applaud your fellow students, and all good wishes to you all in your future careers.
Richard Holmes is a military historian. He has spent most of his working life as a lecturer and scholar, firstly at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst and latterly at Cranfield University, where he has been director of the Security Studies Institute since 1990. He has written more than 20 books, mainly on the British soldier and his experiences, which have been well received by historians, as well as proving extremely popular with the general reader. He has also presented 7 series of programmes on BBC Two. But Richard Holmes is much more than an academic historian. He spent 36 years in the Territorial Army, joining as a private in 1964 and rising to the rank of brigadier. He relinquished his academic post to command the 2nd Battalion of the Wessex Regiment, Territorial Army, full-time for almost 3 years. To an extent which is exceedingly rare amongst historians, he knows whereof he speaks, his wide experience being marked by his formal title of Brigadier Professor Holmes. Richard Holmes was born in Walsall and graduated in history from Emmanuel College, Cambridge. After a year at Northern Illinois University, he joined the staff at Sandhurst in 1969, teaching military history. He also did a part-time doctorate at the University of Reading. His thesis was eventually published as The Road to Sedan in 1984. As I said, Richard Holmes left Sandhurst in 1985 in order to command full-time the Wessex Regiment of the Territorial Army. This gives him a very distant connection to us, since that regiment included 6th Platoon, Princess Beatrice's. In its early days, this was the 5th Volunteer Battalion, Princess Beatrice's own, of the Hampshire Regiment. As such, it was commanded for many years by Lieutenant Colonel Edmund Craddock, the owner of much of the parish of Knighton, including Knighton Hall, which is now the official residence of our Vice-Chancellor. He also owned the Craddock Arms. Whilst serving with the Wessex Regiment, Richard Holmes helped set up the prestigious Higher Command and Staff course at the Army Staff College. He retains the responsibility for part of the operational military history taught on that course. In 1990, he became director of the Security Studies Institute at Cranfield University, who appointed him professor in 1995. He now spends much of his time teaching postgraduate students, military and civilian, at the Defence Academy of the United Kingdom at Shrivenham, most of whose staff belong to Cranfield University. Many of Richard Holmes' books deal with the experiences of the ordinary British soldier, with extensive use of their own letters and diaries. Their subjects range over the soldier armed with a musket in the Napoleonic era, Redcoat, tramping the Grand Trunk Road in India, Sahib, and the trenches of the Western Front, Tommy. All are characterized by a keen sense of the life of a soldier. His most recent book, Dusty Warriors, describes the experiences of the 1st Battalion, Princess of Wales Royal Regiment in Iraq, where they were involved in the longest period of sustained fighting experienced by any unit of the British Army since the Korean War. Richard Holmes has been colonel of this regiment since 1999. One of its members is the Grenada-born Private Johnson Bahari, who was recently awarded the Victoria Cross. Once again, in this book, he describes the soldiers' life largely in their own words, detailing their responses to a conflict noted, as he says, for the episodic character of combat and the constant interlacing of violence and negotiation. Richard Holmes is also a keen horseman, maintaining a large grey called Thatch, on whose back he hazards his person rather more often than is sensible for a man of his years. He recently rode from Liverpool to York, following the route of Prince Rupert's Civil War army of 1644, to raise money for his favourite charity, the Army Benevolent Fund. he has also ridden more strenuous routes. The first, in 1993, was that of the retreat from Mons, following the course of the British Expeditionary Force in 1914. The ensuing book, Riding the Retreat, was published in 1995. He has also ridden from the Northern Cape to Zululand and, most recently, along the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, following the path of the 1895 Chitral Relief Expedition. One route which he has not yet ridden is that of Fred Roberts' epic forced march from Kabul to Kandahar during the Second Afghan War in 1880. Even Richard Holmes is not that bold, but perhaps when the times are quieter, such a ride would give him another connection to us, for Edmund Craddock of Knighton, with his regiment, was besieged in Kandahar until relieved by Roberts' column. Richard Holmes was appointed OBE in 1998 and holds the territorial decoration with 2 bars. In January of this year, he was elected President of the British Commission for Military History. We peaceful civilians fortunately now experience war only through the eyes of the military historian. Today, we honour a man who has brought to us, using their own words, the experiences in war of our contemporaries, our grandfathers, and our ancestors. Men, in Richard Holmes' own words, whose endurance and achievements lift my spirits and break my heart. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and of the Council, I present Richard Holmes, that you may confer upon him the Honorary Degree of Doctor of Letters. Please take a hand.
Mr. Chancellor, my Lord Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to be appointed a Doctor of Letters of this university for 3 reasons. Firstly, because as a historian by trade, I'm honoured by the professional approbation from a university which boasts such a fine school of historical studies, strong not only in conventional areas, medieval, early modern, and modern history, but in so many lateral fields too: regional and local history, financial history, urban history, and Holocaust studies. When I did my first degree in history, you could do whatever you liked, provided it was Tudors and Stuarts. Secondly, I'm happy to be here because I'm a Midlander myself, although I've lived so long in the effete South that my accent probably shows no sign of it. So many of the battles which decided British history have taken place in this area. In 1485, Henry Tudor beat Richard III at Bosworth. Perhaps I should say at or fairly near Bosworth, because despite the Admirable Visitor Centre, nobody is quite certain. We are more certain, however, that in the fullness of time, his remains were chucked here into the river. In 1645, the new model army won the Battle of Naseby, just a little bit to our south. Even those of you with royalist persuasions will perhaps forgive the new model for doing so, as the royalists had just sacked this city. In 1745, Prince Charles Edward Stuart and his Jacobites got just as far as Derby before turning back to defeat at Culloden. A short drive eastward would put us squarely in the middle of those airfields from which Bomber Command flew so many of its wartime missions, night after night. And the Royal Leicestershire Regiment, the 17th of Foot, formed in that significant year, 1688, was based here. It shared with my own regiment the distinguished nickname, the Tigers. Achieved in the case of the Leicesters, in 1825, after 20 years uninterrupted service in India. They were men in those days. And thirdly, it's a personal delight to be here. I've reached that stage in my life where most news that I receive is usually bad, and it is gratifying to receive such a wonderful honour. My old dad was proud of being a Midlander, and I'm wearing his favourite cufflinks this morning. I know he'd be proud of me. Thank you.
The graduands in the Faculty of Arts will be presented by the Dean, Professor Shattuck. Will all graduands in the faculty please stand?
Mr. Chancellor, I ask you to admit these candidates from the Faculty of Arts to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Graduands of the Faculty of Arts, by the authority of the Senate, I admit you to the several degrees for which you are presented.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in American Studies, Natalie Bostock. Emma Brown. Ariane Edwards. Michael Fullard. David Goodger. Brandy Miller. Haley Perridge. Katie Rees-Jones. Rebecca Richards. Philip Rust. David Savage. Jenny Stone. Natalie Sturgeon. Alistair Thompson. Helen Westaway. Elizabeth Winfield. Rebecca Winston. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in American Studies with a year in the USA, Emily Allen. Rebecca Amarte. Charlotte Askew. Rebecca Bowles. Esther Broomhall. Alice Brothill. Raphael Broughton. Benjamin Brown. Lana Clements. Rachel Crofts. Philip Daniels. Paul Diebel, Thomas Dudley, winner of the American Studies Dissertation Prize, Catherine Feltham.
Bravo.
Megan Green, David Hill, Jamie Hurst, winner of the American Studies Dissertation Prize, Kerry Holt. Winner of the American Studies Prize, Joanne Hover. Gemma Hughes. Jonathan Jones. Natalie Kapoor. Robert Littlemore. Benjamin Matthews. Catherine Mellors. Sean Morgan. Hannah Parrish. Alana Parker. Priya Patel. Sappho Powell. Jennifer Riley. Rachel Smith. Paul Summers. Thomas West. Christopher White. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology, Luke Benfey. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History, Josephine Anderson. Elizabeth Andrews. Lucy Baker. Thomas Vandenberg. Sandy Bazi. Jonathan Bean. Amanda Baer. Lydia Beattie. Lena Beru. Rebecca Blake. Howard Bliss. Winner of the West End Memorial Prize and the J.H. Plum Prize, Alexander Borwick.
2 prizes. Well done.
Sarah Brooks. Thomas Buchanan. Rebecca Butson. Laura Carr. Paul Charman. Oliver Cheng. Paul Clark. Mark Clements. Amy Cook. Rosa Corcoran Jones. Peter Cormack. Alexandra Cotton. Josie Davis. Darren DeClaro. Karen Dinler. Mandeep Dillon. Stephen Elson. Robert Ensel. Aled Evans. Humira Fatima. John Foster. Natalie Fry. Cheryl Gadsby. Lauren Godfrey. James Greenwood. Paul Griffiths. James Harrison. Peter Hawkins. Sebastian Hibbins. Craig Hilton. Catherine Hobday. Ian Hunt. Lucinda Jackson. Winner of the F&M Kessner Prize and the Dr. T.G. Williams Memorial Prize, Peter Jennings.
Outstanding. Well done. Very good job.
Thomas Johnson. Laura Keedy. Lauren Keneally. Sean Lawson. Sarah Lee. Jennifer Lees. Laura Lewis. Andrew Maidment. Thomas Mansfield. Joanna Mifflin. Christopher Mitchell. Tia Selena Morris. Nicholas Mools. Paul O'Grady. Francis O'Shaughnessy. Sarah Ottaway. Nicholas Palmer. Andrew Pendlebury. Laura Pettit. Julia Peary. Ashley Plum. James Preston. Olivia Quigley. Louise Rans. Joshua Rickheimer. Beth Robinson. Renee Ruggieri. Regan Scarborough. Richard Scotney. Jenna Smith. Madeline Smith. Robin Smith. Richard Spooner. Catherine Stevenson. Mark Stewart. Charlotte Thomas. Ruth Thomas. Charlotte Thompson. James Tramontano. Helen Vaughan.
Congratulations. Enjoy your day.
Sarah Viles,
Congratulations.
Kay Ward,
Congratulations. Well done.
Keris Wasson,
Well done. Many congratulations.
Alexander Watson,
Well done.
Hannah Webb,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Sarah Wood,
Congratulations. Well done.
Christopher Wright,
Well done. Congratulations.
Gemma Wright,
Congratulations.
Jennifer Yarnow.
Well done. Many congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History, European Union, winner of the Professor W.H. Brock Prize, Georg von Harach.
Many congratulations. Well done. Enjoy your day.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History and Archaeology, Elizabeth Bennett.
Well done. Congratulations.
Alison Day,
Congratulations. Well done.
Magdalena Harrison,
Congratulations. Well done.
Kay Isherwood,
Well done. Enjoy your day.
Benjamin Morton,
Many congratulations.
Andrew Newlands,
Well done.
James Root,
Many congratulations.
Claire Stacey.
Many congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History and Politics, Nazreen Amin Chowdhury.
Well done. Congratulations.
John Ashton,
Congratulations.
David Barrett,
Well done.
Railton Bly,
Congratulations. Well done.
Andrew Bowness,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Bryony Catlow,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Mark Churnside,
Well done. Congratulations.
John Christie,
Well done.
Matthew Clark,
Congratulations. Well done.
Charlotte Cox,
Congratulations, Charlotte. Well done.
Sophie Dannett,
Many congratulations.
Gregory Francis,
Well done.
Jonathan Funnell,
Congratulations. Well done.
Stuart Galloway,
Congratulations. Well done.
Rachel Griffin,
Well done. Congratulations.
Simon Gripton,
Well done, Simon. Congratulations.
Joseph Hayes,
Congratulations.
Matthew Hennessy,
Congratulations. Well done.
Charlotte Hollins,
Well done, Charlotte. Congratulations.
Christopher Jeffcott,
Biggest score. Congratulations.
Sarah Khan,
Many congratulations.
Matthew Knight,
Congratulations.
Nathan Laria,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Harriet Lewis,
Congratulations. You want your fan club?
Hannah Lloyd,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Shyam Modi, winner of the Elsie and Barnett Janner Travel Prize, the Faculty Prize, the Morris Hookham Prize, and the Alfred Pomeranz Prize, Rodri Mortimer.
Oh, many congratulations. That's fantastic. Well done.
Ewan Monroe,
Congratulations. Well done.
Jenny Milepriest,
Congratulations. Well done.
Jodie Newcomb,
Many congratulations.
Andrew Nowak,
Congratulations.
Jennifer Oliver,
Many congratulations. Well done.
Alexander Patterson, Kelly Peel. Marcus Riddell. Davneet Sandhu. Owen Simons. Mark Sparry. Nicholas Sullivan. Matthew Thompson. Winner of the R.L. Borthwick Prize, Thomas Waterhouse. Neil Williams. Karis Woodworth. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Humanities, Lisa Boyer. Winner of the Humanities World Humanities Prize, Jane Burdett. Sheila Dobson. Maria Holdaway. Kamaljit Hare. Jennifer Mitchell. Celia Pocock. Yusuf Sayani. Andrew Smith. Kevin Smith. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in World Humanities, Alison Huckvale. Winner of the Humanities World Humanities Prize, Heather MacDonald. Thomas O'Callaghan. Mr. Chancellor, I ask you to admit to the several degrees for which they are presented by my faculty those candidates who are absent.
By the authority of the Senate, I admit those candidates who are absent to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Sir Mike Tomlinson is an educator and an educationalist, and in recent years he has reenacted a piece of educational history. Politicians, as you know, are expert in all things, including education. In 1988, Gordon Higginson led a government committee charged with the reform of education in the 16 to 18 age range. The committee concluded that A-levels were too narrow and that students specialized too early, and so proposed a 5-subject structure. On the morning that the report was published, Mrs. Thatcher rejected it. The idea didn't quite die, however, because a young man called David Miliband drew on it for his contribution to a paper called A British Baccalaureate. Mr. Miliband became Chief Policy Advisor to Mr. Blair, and so the idea changed parties. It was in due course handed to our honorand, Mike Tomlinson, this time phrased in terms of a unified framework of qualifications, and the age group was broadened to extend from 14 to 19. This was an opportunity for root and branch reform, and Mike Tomlinson grasped it unflinchingly. Unusually for government-commissioned inquiries, Sir Mike and his colleagues chose not to be evasive, but rather to be clear and firm as they seized this opportunity for long overdue change. he was extraordinarily thorough, both in considering the evidence and in using his formidable powers of persuasion to create a consensus in favour of reform. In October 2004, after 2 years of exhaustive and exhausting work, Sir Mike presented his report. As he had toiled, the leadership of the Department for Education and Skills had been shifting, first Estelle Morris and then Charles Clarke. Sir Mike therefore presented his report to a new team, and that evening Tony Blair announced, for political rather than educational reasons, that the present structures would remain in place. On one level, Sir Mike was defeated, in the sense that the government was not willing to accept the notion of a unified framework of qualifications. On a more fundamental level, however, he succeeded because he created for the first time a consensus amongst educationalists. Ofsted, the teachers' unions, the head teachers' associations, the vice-chancellors, the CBI. This consensus was that he had designed the best possible successors to A-levels, which are now more than 60 years old. In the end, he will prevail. Now, how did Michael Tomlinson become the person who has spearheaded educational reform for our generation? He began by studying chemistry at Durham and then trained as a teacher in Nottingham. He stayed there to teach chemistry, but soon realized that Leicestershire was a much better place to live and work, and so became head of chemistry at Ashby de la Zouch Grammar School, where he won a Chemical Society Award in chemistry education. During this period, he became involved with this university, working as a tutor for our PGCE students, helping to establish a science centre and a science and technology regional organisation in the School of Education, and conducting research with Maurice Galton, now an emeritus professor of education, but then a promising young research assistant. He also had strong links with our chemistry department, in particular with John Holloway, another promising young academic who is now an emeritus professor. Sir Mike also chaired the group responsible for the annual meeting of the Association for Science Education on the campus. Last year, he became its president and served in 2005 in that capacity. Throughout this period in Ashby, he was teaching and reflecting on the teaching process and organizing events designed to energize teachers. That may have made his next step seem inevitable. He joined Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Schools and rose like air through boiling water, eventually surfacing in 2000 as Her Majesty's Chief Inspector of Schools, and so responsible for Ofsted, the Office for Standards in Education. As he rose, he took on some extraordinary tasks, not least the re-establishment of the educational system in Kuwait, following its collapse in the First Gulf War. In 2002, Mike Tomlinson retired, but within weeks there was a storm about A-level grading, and tens of thousands of students were alleged to have received the wrong grades. What happened next was that Sir Mike, like Cincinnatus in classical antiquity, and any number of retired soldiers or bank robbers in modern films, was asked to abandon his retirement and return to the battlefield for one last job. So he did. But in solving the immediate problems that had arisen, he again grasped the forelock of opportunity and made recommendations that extended far beyond the solution to the present crisis. In effect, he placed secondary reform back on the political agenda. The following year, he was appointed chair of the 14 to 19 working group, and when that was finished, he again retired, almost as unsuccessfully as the first time he attempted to retire. This time, he assumed a series of part-time appointments: governor of the University of Hertfordshire, board member of the Qualifications and Curriculum Authority, chair of the Hackney Educational Trust, board member of the National Assessment Agency, member of the Council of the Royal Society of Arts, member of the Public Engagement Group of the Science Museum, and a trustee of organizations such as the Camino Foundation, the Industrial Trust, and Business Dynamics. Some would describe this workload as the equivalent of several full-time jobs, but Sir Mike describes it as retirement. He was knighted in the New Year's Honours List at the end of 2004. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of Senate and of Council, I present to you Michael John Tomlinson, that you may confer upon him the degree of Doctor of Laws.
So, Richard, the degree of Doctor of Laws and Doctor of Medicine. Well done, Mike. Many congratulations.
Chancellor, Lord Mayor, Vice-Chancellor, members of staff, students, ladies and gentlemen. First, may I thank Professor Campbell for his oration and the kind words said about my work. I must admit, listening to him, I really need to go back to the spelling of retirement. I clearly haven't got it right at the moment. For me, teaching was always my chosen career. A choice I believe I made from a very young age. I hope you'll forgive me if I say, in my view, it is the most important profession. For education has the power to give people choices and chances in life. Teachers and education really do change lives. So it was in 1969 that I arrived in Leicestershire, as has already been said. It was an exciting time in science education, not least because in those days teachers were actually trusted. I sincerely hope sometime in the future that that is the case also. And at that time, this university offered many opportunities for both professional and personal development. As I heard, I made many friends and thoroughly enjoyed the opportunities provided. Indeed, I believe that those opportunities were instrumental in what happened to me subsequently. And I would, like here, publicly to thank the university and those members of staff whom I was able to work with, notably in chemistry and education. Given my nearly 9 years in Leicestershire and the strong links with the university, I hope you will understand why today is particularly special to me. To be honoured in this way is very humbling indeed. I've been very fortunate in my career. Indeed, as a teacher, I used to talk about careers. I've decided now a career is something you only see in hindsight. And it's good to be back in Leicester, as I say, receiving this honour. I couldn't have imagined it as a teacher down the road, so to speak, that one day I'd be on this platform receiving honorary degree. And I want to thank the university most sincerely for bestowing on me this particular honour. To you, however, today's graduates, I wish you every success in the future. Today is about you and your achievements, the culmination of a great deal of hard work and effort. I wish you every success in the future, and if my career is an indicator, then you never really know what is going to happen to you. Take every opportunity, however, which is presented. And remember, all time, those teachers and lecturers who helped you to be where you are today, and of course, your families and friends. As I say, today is about you. I hope you enjoy not just this morning, but the rest of the day, and that you look back on it with a great deal of affection. Congratulations on your achievements to date. I'm certain that many more will follow for many, many of you. Thank you very much indeed.
The graduands in the Faculty of the Social Sciences will be presented by the Dean, Professor Jackson. Will all graduands in the faculty please stand?
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to admit these candidates from the Faculty of the Social Sciences to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Graduates of the Faculty of the Social Sciences, by the authority of the Senate, I admit you to the several degrees for which you are presented.
For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Norman Dandy.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations.
Rivka Keren.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations.
Omar Mizel.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations.
For the degree of Doctor of Education, Philip Caruana.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education. Congratulations.
King Leng Cheng.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education. Congratulations.
Ming Cheng Su.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education. Congratulations.
Issam Suleiman.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education. Congratulations.
Martin Watts.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education. Congratulations. Thank you.
Christopher Wilkes.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education. Congratulations. Thank you.
Francis Wu.
Admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education. Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Education, Julia Weston.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Applied Linguistics and the Teaching of English to Speakers of Other Languages, Amina Al-Hamad.
Congratulations.
Catherine Mitsaki.
Congratulations. Thank you.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Diplomatic Studies, Kwaku Beriagu Amawa.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Arts in English Local History, Sybil Carter.
Congratulations.
Audrey Day.
Congratulations.
Joanne Reed.
Congratulations.
Matthew Smith.
Congratulations.
Winner of the Richard McKinley Prize, Kim Taylor-Moore.
Congratulations and well done on your prize.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Professional Studies in Education, Maxine Hutt.
Congratulations.
Deborah Lynch.
Congratulations.
Carol Smart.
Congratulations.
Jennifer Walbank.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Psychodynamic Counselling, Angela Spokes.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration in Educational Management, Jacqueline Allen.
Congratulations.
Daniel Britton.
Congratulations.
Noel Gittins.
Congratulations.
Kim Kirchin.
Congratulations.
Errol Lade.
Congratulations.
Curtis Lewis.
Congratulations.
Brian McCann.
Congratulations.
Lorraine Norris.
Congratulations.
Kadia Pay.
Congratulations.
Carmen Reynard Wills.
Congratulations.
Clive Seal.
Congratulations.
Judy Sobers.
Congratulations.
Chow Tang Tian.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Science in Educational Leadership, Len Brazier.
Congratulations. Well done.
Annie Cheng.
Congratulations.
Annabelle Giver.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Carmel Hartnett,
Congratulations.
Brian Vassilo,
Congratulations.
for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Contemporary History, Carol Aspin,
Congratulations.
Edward Asta,
Congratulations.
Jonathan Binstead,
Congratulations.
Anna Dyson,
Congratulations.
Brendan Granger,
Congratulations.
Adrian Knight,
Congratulations.
Tim Ngua,
Congratulations.
Daniel O'Keefe,
Congratulations.
Andrew Roberts,
Congratulations.
Alex Rodis,
Congratulations.
Bhavini Shah,
Congratulations.
Helen Slater,
Congratulations.
Annalise Webster,
Congratulations.
for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economic and Social History, Douglas Bentley,
Congratulations.
Nicholas Broadbridge,
Congratulations.
Oliver Franks,
Congratulations.
Alexandra Gatt,
Congratulations. Thank you.
James Goddard,
Congratulations.
Danielle Harrison,
Congratulations.
winner of the Ralph Davis Prize, the West End Memorial Prize, the H.J. Dias Prize, and the Arthur Poole Memorial Prize, Richard Harrison.
Congratulations. Well done.
Ian Lammerton,
Congratulations.
David Myers,
Congratulations.
Rebecca Sageman,
Congratulations.
James Saunders,
Congratulations.
Adam Taylor,
Congratulations.
Benjamin Warren,
Congratulations.
Kai Yi Yan,
Congratulations.
for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Educational Studies, Barbara Conlon,
Congratulations.
Kerry Hadley,
Congratulations.
Katie Kenyon,
Congratulations.
Nasim Rahman,
Congratulations.
Nicola Shaw,
Congratulations.
Linda Sismy,
Congratulations.
Margaret Abebe,
Congratulations.
Tewu Adewui,
Congratulations.
Ekakuno Ademi Doro,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Gerald Allor,
Congratulations.
Humid Al Suwaidi,
Congratulations.
Guy Atkinson,
Congratulations.
Amunjit Baines,
Congratulations.
Helen Blower,
Congratulations.
Saira Shisti,
Congratulations.
Christopher Clark,
Congratulations.
Phyllis Demir,
Congratulations.
Jonathan Gorvin,
Congratulations.
John Hayes,
Congratulations.
Winner of the Elsie and Barnett Janner Travel Scholarship, Jamie Hindle.
Congratulations and well done on your prize.
Robert Hudson.
Congratulations.
Catherine Kerr-Delworth.
Congratulations.
Jonathan Marsland.
Congratulations.
Laura McFarlane.
Congratulations.
Vidya Naidu.
Congratulations.
Lois Newcomb.
Congratulations.
Elizabeth Ogunyomi.
Congratulations.
Claire Reeves.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Keremanchan Cesar.
Congratulations.
Ralph Smith.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Tate.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Politics, Oluwatuni Iyanlaja.
Congratulations.
David Baker.
Congratulations.
Sam Billett.
Congratulations.
Alison Bragg.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Winner of the Elsie and Barnett Janner Travel Scholarship, Alexander Brown.
Congratulations.
Pamela Das.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Mark Daveron.
Congratulations.
Stuart Easton.
Congratulations.
David Fowler.
Congratulations.
Sarah Green.
Congratulations.
Winner of the Elsie and Barnett Janner Travel Scholarship, Joanne Greening.
Congratulations and well done on your prize.
Thomas Grintner.
Congratulations.
Natalie Geit.
Congratulations.
Andreas Hadjistilis.
Congratulations.
Elizabeth Haruna.
Congratulations.
Christopher Haynes.
Congratulations.
Ian Hayes.
Congratulations.
Tejpal Johal.
Congratulations.
Philip Kingston.
Congratulations.
Madeline Last.
Congratulations.
Natalie Laffer.
Congratulations.
Fiona Malach.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Winner of the Maurice Hookham Prize, Victoria McDowell.
Congratulations and well done on your prize. Thank you.
Justin Malachi.
Congratulations.
Maxine Myers.
Congratulations.
Thomas Penman.
Congratulations.
Matthew Rowe.
Congratulations.
Mandeep Sambi.
Congratulations.
William Sandom.
Congratulations.
Roxana Shales.
Congratulations.
Laura Sims.
Congratulations.
Martin Van Heeswijk.
Congratulations.
Christopher Wesley.
Congratulations.
Stephen Williams.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Politics and Economic and Social History, Simon Adams.
Congratulations. Well done.
Satvinder Aitan.
Congratulations.
Owen Evans.
Congratulations.
Jennifer Gorbett.
Congratulations.
Frank Hans.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Jessica Lamb.
Congratulations.
Daniel Matthews.
Congratulations.
James Macmillan.
Congratulations.
Ryan Oskvarek.
Congratulations.
Luke Roberts.
Congratulations.
Darryl Springer.
Congratulations.
Damien Walton Sardina.
Congratulations.
For the Arts Foundation degree in Educational Studies for Teaching Assistants, Sharon Adams.
Congratulations. Well done.
Farzana Akhtar.
Congratulations. Well done.
Carol Askew.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Samantha Audley.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Helen Bacon.
Congratulations.
Jasmine Bagworth.
Congratulations.
Annette Batchelor.
Congratulations.
Jane Beckett.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Gemma Bettany.
Congratulations.
Andrea Birch.
Congratulations.
Joanna Brown.
Congratulations.
Coral Burbage.
Congratulations.
Melanie Chapman.
Congratulations.
Sandra Chapman.
Congratulations. Well done.
Rahila Chowdhury.
Congratulations.
Claire Corns.
Congratulations.
Michelle
Thank you.
Corrigan.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Janet Devonshire.
Congratulations.
Gaynor Duffy.
Congratulations.
Simon Girach.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Gillian Gray.
Congratulations.
Hazel Hammonds.
Congratulations.
Rosemary Harris.
Congratulations.
Lynn Hawkes.
Congratulations.
Julie Hinks.
Congratulations.
Winner of the Hayes Education Award for Development in the Early Years, Carol Jackson.
Congratulations. And well done on your prize.
Patricia Loveday.
Congratulations.
Julie Matthews.
Congratulations.
Suzanne Mikalev.
Congratulations.
Muriel Millard.
Congratulations.
Karen Milnthorpe.
Congratulations.
Claire Malloy.
Congratulations.
Sylvia Pond.
Congratulations.
Patricia Poppet.
Congratulations.
Denise Shaw.
Congratulations.
Marie Siddons.
Congratulations.
Susan Smith.
Congratulations.
Melanie Snutch.
Congratulations.
Christine Thompson.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Marie Walker.
Congratulations.
Teresa Wright.
Congratulations. Well done.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to admit to the several degrees for which they are presented by my faculty those candidates who are absent.
By the authority of the Senate, I admit those candidates who are absent to the several degrees for which they are presented.
my Lord Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Vice-Chancellor and Mike Tomlinson have reminded us in their two speeches that this is very much your day, the graduates of the University of Leicester. It's a day for celebration. It's a day where sun is shining outside, where I think perhaps you have more of a mind for champagne than a very long speech from your Chancellor. So I will try to be somewhat brief. I have many pleasures in the role as Vice-Chancellor, and the privilege of sharing a day such as this with you and your families is one of them. Another privilege is being able to welcome into our midst distinguished individuals, Richard Holmes and Mike Tomlinson, as honorary graduates of the university. And they in turn, and gentlemen, we thank you for this, do us honor in accepting those degrees. I'm sure you'd all agree that they are both an inspiration and a role model to all of you younger graduates, whom I also salute today on your achievements. And if I may turn to you with you in mind and your future, and what that future may hold. Of course, this is the end for many of you, indeed the great majority of you, of your period of study at the university, and that place we fondly call the wider world, or the real world, beckons. While you are here, of course, you've had immense and considerable freedom to pursue your studies, to delve into a whole range of subjects we've seen here this morning. Well, the good news is that your achievements in winning your degrees here has also allowed you freedom of choice as to what you as individuals wish to do with your careers in the future. Of course, as an historian, for example, you may wish to follow in the footsteps of the very illustrious historian whom we honored earlier this morning. But you have a freedom to choose, and if that is not your destined career, then that is up to you and your personal decision. American studies may well give you a quite unique perspective on transatlantic banking. Those of you in politics and management have really many, many worlds open to you. In short, what I hope you've acquired in your time studying here at Leicester, over and above your specialist knowledge and your specialist discipline, is the capacity to both think and to reason and to express yourselves. As you leave, of course, it very much will be a wider world for many of you. And indeed, as the Vice-Chancellor has always remarked, Leicester prides itself on being an international university, helping young men and young women not only to study and learn together, but also to grow to understand each other and to grow to respect each other's different and separate qualities and cultures as human beings. Particularly in the light of yesterday's terrible tragedy in India, the world surely needs such mutual understanding today more than ever, certainly in my lifetime, if we're both to resolve conflicts and to tackle the many challenges that lie ahead of us. But today is a day very much to think about your time at Leicester and to celebrate your achievements here. As the Vice-Chancellor has already remarked, university life is about many things. Of course, about learning, about scholarship, about research, the distinction of the faculty that have taught you in your years here. But for me as your Chancellor, important and vital though those factors certainly are for a leading university such as Leicester, it is you, our graduates, and what you do in your lives and your careers will carve out our reputation as much as any other single factor. Your achievements will in future reflect on us. Your successes will continue to give us much pleasure as the years go by. Wherever you go, you will take more from Leicester in your time studying with us than perhaps you realize today. You will leave, and we've seen ample evidence in your cheering today, with friendships forged here, which will last you literally for the rest of your lives. And talking of those friendships, I think I detected some clear evidence and a reminder in much of the cheering and applause that this is indeed, as I said at the outset, a day for celebration. I think it's high time I let you get back to your families and friends and begin that process. The wider world, I'm sure, can wait for another 24 hours while you celebrate and party. Enjoy the rest of your day. I salute you and congratulate you on your achievements as graduates of the University of Leicester. Thank you. I now declare this congregation closed.